from my mother, uh, I really learned to be curious. Once you know how to learn, then everything becomes very easy. I had that sort of a creative feeling. I used to love breaking things
Mm-hmm.
and then we build them. We take decisions
Mm-hmm.
based on the knowledge that we have and the justification that we can build in our mind in order to do that, right? Like, don't be rigid about yourself because world changes very quickly.
Correct.
What you are today,
Mm-hmm.
you are 100% not going to be what you are 5 years from now. And then take your decision based on balancing both your heart and mind. I feel proud and I feel uh, satisfied that I did the right thing at the time based on the information I have.
Hi, viewers. My name is Upesh Jain. Greetings from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm the host of the Exec Talk channel, a forum I started to talk to CEOs, executives, and other luminaries about their journeys and distill their experiences and learnings for our viewers' benefit. I have in the past talked to serial entrepreneurs who start a company, exit, then start another company, and so on. Today, I am talking to Anurag Khemka, CEO of Rightwave, a marketing automation company providing services for B2B customers. The key point to note is that since Anurag started, built, and scaled the company, it has sustained itself for 20 plus years and is still going strong. A pioneering technologist and entrepreneur, Anurag founded the first marketing automation company, Market First, in 1996, that was later sold to Pivotal. He later established Rightwave in 2004, focusing on marketing automation and marketing operation services that enhance marketers' ROI. He is an alumnus of IIT Delhi, where he got a BTech in electrical engineering, and University of Louisiana at Lafayette, where he got an MS in computer science. He was also featured in B2B magazines Who's Who 100 in CRM. In his spare time, Anurag likes to read, socialize, but one unique hobby Anurag has that we learned is to make custom salads. We will talk to Anurag about all of this and more. Welcome, Anurag, to my channel, and thanks for taking time out for me and my viewers.
Thank you, Pesh. Thank you for including me here, and I'm really excited about it.
So, Anurag, I want to start with your childhood, and I learned you were the middle child amongst three siblings, all boys, and growing up in a middle class household in Delhi. Your
Mm-hmm.
dad was a teacher, and your mom a homemaker. What was life like at that age, and what are some of the learnings that stuck with you? And were there any other prominent influences in your life?
Yeah, my father was a professor of Hindi,
Mm-hmm.
and later, after many years of teaching as a professor, he became a principal in a graduate college in a small town near Mathura in Uttar Pradesh in India.
Mm-hmm.
And mother was a housewife,
Mm-hmm.
but she was also highly educated. She also had a master's from Delhi University, though she chose to become a housewife and dedicate her life to her kids. Uh, so obviously, while growing up, we had a strong focus on education, right? On literary co-curricular activities. We were not great in sports,
Mm-hmm.
though we have done all kinds of street sports, but most of the activities used to focus more on the literary side of it, debates and science fair and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And our parents were great motivators. They always valued high moral values and built a sort of a service mentality in us. Because my father, he was a very dedicated teacher. He used to teach his students many long hours, extra classes, working at home, but he never took any money for his private tutoring because he said, that's my job. I need to get that done, right? So every year, when he, at least 2 or 3 of his students will come within the top 5 of the university, so many times topping the university, right? So he really knew how to motivate the students, how to give them that deep learning kind of a motivation where they can not just understand the bookish knowledge, but really understand the concept and get into it and do this. And I think that is exactly what I learned from him. I learned from him how to learn, right? And that is something which has served all through the life, because once you know how to learn, then everything becomes very easy, right?
Yeah,
And
you can think for yourself and take a topic and embellish it and grow it further, right?
right. So if I basically say, hey, what was the one special learning? There's no one special learning. There's so many things, right? But the main thing I learned was that how to learn, right? And in high tech industry where everything changes continuously, everything is new, it's very important to keep you current and relevant from that perspective, right? And from my mother, uh, I really learned to be curious. Right? My mother was very curious. She wanted to learn everything. She wanted to get into things and
Yeah.
and look at and understand and ask 10 questions. And he would go out with me and ask 100 questions to people who were totally, other people will get shy, but she would ask and she will find things out, right? And so what I learned from her was curiosity and a passion for to pursue dreams, right?
Right.
Uh, she always encouraged us to do our best, drive to and how to drive to get ahead of the line, go for the mountaintop, things like that, right? Uh, it, she really gave me the core values that I have in terms of attention to detail and respect for everyone around you, right? So those are, I think, uh, it's a lot of time says that you are what your parents made you, and that's very much true in that
Right.
case, right? uh, and being you asked about the being a middle child.
Right.
Uh, being a middle child was really a privilege because I didn't have the responsibility of the older one.
Yeah.
And anytime I did a kiddish thing, there was always a younger one who did a more kiddish thing. I was lucky to get an elder brother who uh, was my protector when I needed it, and a younger brother who I
When you had to pass on the blame.
pass on the blame and boss around and pamper or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that I was the tiniest one of all three. So my younger brother is much taller than me. He's and all that. So my brother protected me as an elder brother, but my younger brother protected me on a physical basis. So we had a funny, love fulfilling childhood. This is great.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's great, Anurag. I mean, sure, the service mentality, the curiosity, the going for the jugular, that kind of thing, detail oriented, those are some pretty good skills to have in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I presume all those led you to be a good student. And so what were your interests in your formative years? You mentioned some of them, like debates and science fairs and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And how did they evolve? You know, uh, old habits die hard. So I guess some of those same interests morphed or blossomed into something similar when you grew up. Uh,
Yeah.
do you see that relevance or
Yeah,
uh,
so if
that's
you by being good student, you meant that, oh, were you academically doing good or things like that? Yes, I
yeah.
was a nerd, right? When
Mhm.
I was a student, I was a nerd, right? I
Mhm.
will classify what I would see somebody and classify as a nerd.
Mhm.
That's who I was. Uh, Almostly topping the class until I reach IIT Delhi, where well, it was very difficult to be even in the top 25%, right?
Right.
Uh, the but like uh, during my middle school and high school, again, the focus was to go do something. As you know, that the Indian households with
Mhm.
education focus, there's a lot more focus on uh, doing, when you are not studying, you're still doing nerdy things, right?
Mhm.
So as it does,
Mhm.
debate, journalism, elocution, things like that, science fair, right?
Right.
Those are the kind of things I did.
Mhm.
But I would say uh, I had that sort of a creative feeling. I used to love breaking things and
Mhm.
then rebuild them.
I
I
see.
was the one who broke all my elder brother was he would keep everything.
Mhm.
Somebody gave him a toy, he will play very cautiously, keep them safe, not break them. And I was the one who break every toy he had.
Mhm.
And I would, because again, that curiosity, go in and look for
Mhm.
things and what's happening inside, and and
Yeah.
and then and try to build it, and then cry when I couldn't build it back again.
Right.
So it was fun from that perspective. So the life was more uh, the interest. I still have that creative interest,
Mhm.
and we talked about my the building the decorative fruits and
Mhm.
salads.
Mhm.
It's kind of from there, right?
Mhm.
It's sort of being able to do other things than just
Right.
study and education.
Right. And there's something to be said about dismantling things and putting them apart. I mean, even today, if you see the iPhone 15 tear down, or, there's a lot of learning
A lot of
associated
learning in
with
that. A lot of learning in that.
dismantling
Like
stuff.
I used to love science fair, build this stuff, right? Did go to state level and stuff like that, but it was more, and I would go build things at home, right?
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
So, are some of those interests uh,
So I
still?
think in the later year it translated differently.
Mhm.
Uh, I still want to build a lot of things. My tool closet is very big here in the house, right?
Mhm.
Though I had a couple of little accidents, and then my wife has prevented me to do stuff like
Mhm.
woodwork and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But that's kind of interest always remains.
Yeah. You're not shy of taking on projects and
Yeah,
seeing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a handyman. I'm the handyman in the house for everything, you know. So
Okay.
so yeah.
Okay, so now shifting towards your professional life, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
What and when and how did you develop an interest in market automation? I believe you worked a couple of high-tech jobs
Yep.
out of college, and then a few years into that, you developed an interest
Yes.
in market automation. Uh,
Yeah.
can you first define market automation for our viewers, and then you almost created that niche in some ways, and how did you discover that gap, and that eventually led you to start this company?
Sure. Uh, it's a long story.
Mhm.
And so back in the early 90s, when I was working as a architect of network management platform for UB Networks,
Mhm.
uh, I I used to go to trade shows with marketing folks uh, for either demo or working with the customers and presenting to them and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so it was always, that's where sort of my interest in marketing came around, going with the marketing people and saying, okay, what are they doing? They would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a trade show, uh, and then celebrate the names that they got as, and say they are leads. We
Mhm.
got 1,500 leads, and they are celebrating and really having fun with that. Uh, but being that, again, the sort of curious minds and trying to understand what's going on, so I said, okay, you got the leads, but then what's happening, right?
Mhm.
uh, I remember this big trade show we had where we had like a fire uh, spewing dragon on top
Mhm.
of the thing, a big booth and all that, and we came back with like 2,000 leads, and everybody said, oh my god, such a successful trade show.
Right.
And but then I said, 3 months later, 6 months later, I didn't see much change in the company's revenue or stuff like that. So I started asking the questions, talk
Right.
to my marketing folks, the sales folks, that, okay, what happened to those 2,000 leads I got? And I
Right.
was really dismayed and surprised to learn that nobody even knew where those are 6 months later.
Right.
right?
Let them
And
translate to money.
yeah, so they didn't really translate into money. There was not even a tracking of what happened to those. There
Mhm,
was nobody, because they were lying in somebody's drawer
mhm,
on a spreadsheet, printed spreadsheet or stuff
mhm.
like that. And so that's where my interest came in into the marketing as such, as and my engineering mind is thinking, okay, how we can help with this? What can we do here so
Mhm,
that things can become better, right?
mhm.
Uh, all I found in marketing, the technology being used was spreadsheets and PowerPoint. That was the most they could be using, but they didn't have a database. They went to 10 different shows, and I said, okay, where is your list for all 10 different shows? They couldn't tell me,
Right.
right? And so that really stirred my, and I started to research more into the marketing processes and marketing things.
Mhm.
Uh, and this was also the same time with internet was becoming mainstream, and then internet was really making the marketing landscape change, right?
Sure.
An
Mhm,
example is that uh, if somebody needed, prior to 1990, they needed to know about a Cisco router,
mhm,
uh, and they were in a remote village in Africa,
mhm,
there's no way they could get it. They will have to go to Johannesburg or somewhere big city and find a Cisco office and then
mhm.
try to probably get their stuff. But internet completely changes. Whether you are in a remote village somewhere or you are in a big city in Silicon Valley, you all have the same information. So marketing was transforming at the same time.
Mhm,
So that's where I kind of thought that, hey, another thing that was happening at that point was the Salesforce automation was becoming mainstream. So Salesforce
mhm.
automation, if you remember Siebel and all that, that came in the late 80s, and sort of they have become the so all that kind of, it was not one thing, but all that kind of combined into that, hey, wouldn't it be great to have a a software that for marketing people, where
Mhm,
there is a marketing database, where we can keep the life cycle of the leads,
mhm.
where we can query, and where we can build a communication platform using the internet, the new technology of internet that is coming along.
Right.
So that's what sort of led to it, put together the business plan, put together things, and
Mhm.
in 1996 end up starting that, right?
Yeah.
And from there, but obviously that was the first, that was market first. But then Rightwave was one of the key learnings from market first was we sold to over 200 enterprises. There's a new space of marketing automation. uh, and really, as I just said, you asked the question, what is marketing automation? Marketing automation is really trying to automate the marketing's database and processes, and so that they can build communicative infrastructure that they can communicate with their prospects, they can communicate with the leads, they can communicate with their partners,
Mm.
and keep the whole information into a system where they can analyze. One of the key things you probably heard about marketing is, oh, uh, I know half of my money is wasted, but which half I don't know, right?
Mhm.
And that's because they don't keep track of which initiative is returning to what. So now we were able to build end-to-end funnel stories where you did this campaign, this generated X amount of leads, and they had interacted with you, and ultimately those leads converted into opportunities and to revenue and all that. That can all be, while some of that could be done at the later stage, could be done in Salesforce automation, but the
Mhm.
top of the funnel is what marketing automation manages, right?
I see.
And the sort of the learning from uh, Rightwave, from market first, where we sold to over 200 enterprises, like sort of like Pfizer and Sharp Electronics and all that, it
Mhm.
was that our most successful customers were those who were either building a group of people in house who were market first trained,
Mhm.
and then serving all the marketing users,
Mhm.
or they were using our customer services a lot.
Right.
So that's where, uh, because the reason was that marketing was not a tech-savvy industry, tech-savvy department at that point. There was no marketing operations department at that time.
Mhm.
So Rightwave was started with the concept that I want to make the marketing automation simplified for marketing.
Mhm. So
Uh,
the classic uh, marketing functions like evangelism, product pitch, lead generation, all those are still performed,
Absolutely.
but with the underpinnings in your company's software, which makes the whole solution scalable, easily usable, and you can always go back and slice and dice the data
Exactly.
generate metrics, basically.
Generate metrics, get the reports that can help you in decision making. That's the ultimate goal. I think
Right.
there are two main goals of marketing automation, right? One is give you the analysis that help you derive your decisions.
Mhm.
And the second is make sure that you can communicate and interact with your leads and prospects on their terms.
Mhm.
When they want and as they want, they can get that information, right?
Awesome.
And sort of you are able to build that infrastructure around you, and marketing automation helps you do that.
Right. So seems like you were the pioneer, and then you created a niche for yourself. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure there's other solutions out there,
Oh, there are a lot.
competition. But one thing that stands out in your company is, typically people when they start companies, they have an exit 5, 6 years later. They either merge or sell or IPO. How do you sustain a company that you started 20 years ago,
Yep.
started and built 20 years ago? And what kind of thought process and underpinnings does that entail? I mean, I presume it's a different mindset. And what is that mindset and the thought process?
So I'm not sure if there's a deliberate mindset. It's not the way I planned it. I will be very open in that. It's not that,
It's
oh,
evolution. Yeah.
20-year
Yeah.
company, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I personally, I believe in doing things, uh, whatever best I can do at the spur of the moment,
Mhm.
without too much deliberation of the results, right?
Mhm.
It's hey, we have something in front of us, let's get it done. So Rightwave was actually started with this sort of to some extent, an abstract view that how can I make marketing automation easier for the marketing? The thing that I was talking to you about, that hey, uh,
So,
our successful customers needed this dedicated people who were working, and there was no marketing operations department at that time,
mhm.
right? So I started with this concept where we said marketing automation as a service, which was that we are going to make for the line of business users of marketing easier to use marketing automation, because marketing automation is a complex set of software, and
Sure.
even though it's self-serve, it's drag and drop, it's all that stuff, but
Mhm.
it's still, the marketing person is not a developer. Marketing person is not
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
person who can drive business logic and databases and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I kind of started this with that view that I'm going to build this next level of solution as a service kind of a thing, uh, which is kind of in a way next level from software as a service. So we
Mhm.
say software as a service, and people say that it brought the software down. No, it didn't bring the software down. It actually took away the hardware from you, right?
Right.
So the whole idea about solution as a service is, you still, like with software as a service, you still care about different software, right?
Mhm.
Now with solution as a service, you want to uh, even do away with the consideration of a particular software. You should be able to do things yourself without worrying about what software is doing it,
Mhm.
and it's more higher level, more so this sort of the concept I wanted to bring
Right.
in. But then I started it as a bootstrap services business,
Okay.
right? And
Mhm.
so we put together a solution where the other marketing automation solution at that point were not very developed and things like
Mhm.
that. So we built
Mhm.
a marketing automation infrastructure, and provided that in a pure services model.
Mhm.
So people loved it. People were getting great value and ROI from it. But then, as the other marketing solutions developed in the market and it became very competitive, then customers started to ask us that, okay, all the services that you provide is great. We want that, but we want that in this platform or that platform. So
Mhm.
over time, things evolved with Rightwave, right?
Mhm.
And so it wasn't really that it wasn't a deliberate mindset, or it was something that I designed that I want to keep this company for 20 years.
Yeah.
But as long as there have been an innovation, there have been excitement, there have been something new, there was some potential for growth and all that, I kept at it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's still a business, and
It's still
you
a
have a
business.
payroll that you need to meet,
I
and
need to meet. Exactly,
you need
exactly.
to show up and to the right growth or whatever, right? So That's why I asked. I mean, that at some point you could sustain a company kind of in a status quo and not grow, but
Yeah, no, and
yeah,
that's not the thing, that we are growing, right?
yeah.
We are growing, and I think the mindset here was,
Mhm.
if you talk about really a mindset, is perseverance, right? It's that we are doing something. I want to take it to somewhere. I want to build something out big, good
Yeah.
out of it. So keep at it, and the whether call it a good part or fortunate or unfortunate part, that I never had any time where I said, "Oh my God, this sucks so bad that I should leave it,"
Mhm.
right?
Right, right.
So there were good times and there were bad times, but bad times were never that bad that I should have said, okay,
Yeah.
drop it, right? So there's
I
always
totally.
hope, there's always something potential and something to do better.
Right, right. I totally get it. So it
Yeah,
was, you didn't start by design saying I'll be there 20 years later,
that's
but
right.
you started doing the work and
Hmm.
had fun along the way, had challenges, had ups and downs, but before you knew it, 20 years
20
were
years have gone by. Yeah.
gone,
It's been a long journey. Yeah. But as long as it still is exciting, it is
So
worth
what
doing.
were some of the key challenges that you encountered and how did you overcome those?
So
If you could share
just
them. Yeah.
yeah, just like in any business or undertaking, right? As I said, there are up days and there are down days, right? Some days have been really looked bright, and other days when I kind of felt, oh my God, what I have put myself into, right?
Right. And
Uh,
especially like during COVID, for example,
yeah, yeah,
it could impact business.
yeah. It's very interesting that it's the COVID is a great example.
Mhm.
You mentioned is uh, when COVID hit, right?
Mhm.
And before even Silicon Valley closed here,
Mhm.
1 week before I closed my company in India,
Mhm.
I asked them to everybody go home. Like if even 2 days before, if a week before that, if somebody had told me that, Anurag, everybody in your company will be working from home
Mhm.
and you will be running this business, I said, not possible. It is
Mhm.
just not possible,
The
right?
chance. Yeah. Mhm.
But when the things came, everybody stood up with resolve, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
We were overnight, within a week, my IT in India moved everybody home, right? They
Wow.
were all able to work from home. We did not, and this was over the weekend. And Friday to Monday, Friday we were working in office, Monday we were working from home, and our customer did not notice a beat,
Wow.
right?
Mhm.
So team was able to transform such a thing, which if somebody had told me, Anurag, you have to do it, I would say, no way, it's not possible, right? But it happened. So which is a kind of say that I really have a great support, right? I really have not just the support of my wife, my kids, my family,
Mhm.
right? But I also have a wonderful team that works hard. When given a challenge, they get things done, right?
Right.
Obviously challenges, there are too many to elaborate at
Yeah,
times. There
sure.
have always been things, but I think uh, I kind of work with that. When a challenge comes, uh, uh, I put it into one of the three categories,
Mhm.
right? If it is your mistake,
Mhm.
which is because of which the challenge has come,
Mhm.
then man up,
Mhm.
right? Admit your mistake, stand up and take all the course of
Corrective
action,
measures. Yeah.
corrective measures to get
Mhm.
it done right. And if this is something because you can't control, then it's just another input
Mhm.
into your solution. So then work your solution around it, because
Mhm.
that's the input you got, right? And if it is something that you can change, then persevere,
Mhm.
right? Get at it to get it changed and get it done, right? So you work through the challenges as part of your thing through that
That's a
philosophy.
good way of looking at things. Yeah.
Yeah,
It, I mean, I usually talk about controllable and uncontrollable, right?
yeah,
So, yeah, there's no sense worrying about things that are not controllable,
not controllable, exactly.
and on things that you can control, you persevere and just pivot to address them.
To addressing them, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, okay, excellent. The other challenge that sometimes comes for small companies is to the retention of talent. So
Mhm.
you're in Silicon Valley. How do you retain talent? with so much temptation around, for a small company that's fairly constant, right? I mean, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just retention. Perhaps the challenge is also hiring, also, you know.
yeah. The hiring, retention, churn,
Yeah.
I think it is a reality,
Mhm,
right? And not just in Valley, right?
mhm.
It's most of my services team sits in India, and it's
Mhm.
even a bigger challenge there.
Right. Yeah,
And
the market is more volatile there.
market is much more volatile. There are things are booming. A lot of the time, India right now feels like wow, Silicon Valley felt like in late 90s, right?
Correct. Mhm,
And so uh, again, the I kind of look at it in a little different ways. We talked about being son of a teacher, right?
mhm,
It really it gives me a great pleasure and satisfaction in knowing that I'm doing, helping others
mhm,
build their life better
mhm.
or build a better life and help them positively, right? So
Right.
that's what we have done in our company is sort of build a very respectful family type environment, family like
Mhm,
environment. Everybody is there available
mhm.
to, if you have a contingency, the company is going to stand with you, whether it's even if it's a personal one,
Give
right?
and take. Yeah.
Give and take, right?
Mhm,
uh, we prioritize learning and development.
mhm,
We really look at the employees and basically say, hey, we will give them a space to build their own initiatives,
mhm.
or if they want to do something, we won't say, hey, don't do this because that's not your job responsibility. No, go ahead, do it,
Right.
right? I promote them to do more stuff than what their responsibility are. I a lot of the
Right.
time tell people,
Right.
do something today what you want to be tomorrow.
Mhm.
I'll support you with that, right? And so working with people with their career development, right, giving them good balance between uh, organizations need and the employees needs, right? So I have employees who have worked with us 10 years, 15 years and things like that, and been there. So
Mhm.
really proud of my team from that perspective. Obviously, uh, there are people, and I always respect them. There are people who will work 2 3 years and they will say no, I now I need to go somewhere else, like,
Sure.
because
Mhm.
grass is always greener on the other side. Whether it's, they will find out when they reach there whether it's greener or not.
Yeah.
But some people will just leave even if they are satisfied, they're fully satisfied, they're ruling everything in the company, but they just want to go somewhere else, and it's a way of style. It's their
Yeah.
choice, they will move. So again, I kind of looked at that there is certain things we can control. We want to control that, we want to give people a better environment, right?
Yeah.
There are certain things we can't control. The
Right.
churn is reality, so you have to build your model around that churn, around
Right.
that retention, right?
So you've created an environment that has to jive with your value system, right?
Mhm,
What do you
mhm.
want to get out of it? And
Yep.
seems like creativity, uh, ability to take risk, learn, and you know, the give and take between the company and the employees. Those are some of the core values that
Yeah, Rightwave is kind of in the
yeah,
in our Noida
yeah,
location in Delhi. Rightwave is kind of known there that it's a great learning environment,
right.
right? So people, that's our sometimes our attraction.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. Um, so other question is, Anurag, since you've always been your own boss, do you ever envisage working for somebody else? If yes, why? And if no, why not?
So first of all, I have never been my own boss, right?
Okay.
Because for, obviously, first 8 years of my life, I worked under other bosses, so I can work in a traditional boss sense.
Mhm,
But even what I have done, I've sort of felt always that uh, the I don't work for a single boss,
mhm,
but I'm working for my company, my employees, and my customer base.
mhm,
And so there's a fancy term used which says servant leadership, right?
mhm, mhm.
So kind of I believe in that. I work with that. I work with example, tell anything needs to get done. Uh, I would jump in with the team and try to get things taken care of and stuff like that. So do
Mhm.
whatever is necessary for my employees, my bosses, and all that. And you know what? At this age, I'm not sure if anybody want me to want me working for them in a traditional sense.
Right.
So yeah, but I certainly feel that I have worked with others and I can work with others, but at the same time, uh, I've gone through a lot of years,
Right.
right? So
So yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Let's say you were to do this from scratch, right? Again, I mean, let's rewind the clock. I mean, how would you do things differently, if at all? And what would be the advice based on, all these years that you've done, if you were to start from scratch?
yeah. So Upesh, like we take decisions
Mhm.
based on the knowledge that we have and the justification that we can build in our mind in order to do that, right?
Correct.
Uh, I I have taken a lot of decisions in my life where, in hindsight, when I look at this, I'd say, ha, if I knew what I know today, I wouldn't have done that,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But at the same time,
Mhm.
uh, I feel proud and I feel uh, satisfied that I did the right thing at the time based on the information I have. If I
Right.
have relived the life, again, the experiences that I gained later, I wouldn't have at that point, right?
Sure.
So, would you change things? Yeah, a lot of things in life can be changed and should be changed and can potentially because you know in hindsight a lot better. But I think what makes me sleep and what makes me satisfied with the thing is knowing that at the moment I did the best that I
Right.
could do, right?
Right.
And I think that is exactly what I feel when you said that, hey, do you have any advice,
Mhm.
right? I don't think is any one advice that makes or break a business,
Mhm.
right? It's an overall mentality. It's an overall mentality to go out there and do something that's what matters most, right?
In some ways, you're saying give it your best shot
Give
at
it your best shot
that,
at the
at
time,
that
and there is
juncture.
no
Yeah.
point repenting later that, oh my God, I should have done that, because uh, what you could have done, what you would have done, it's done.
Right.
Now think about what you can do based on what you have
Yeah.
today, right? And how can you apply your learnings from the past to do
Mhm.
better for future? Because if we live in the past, it gives nothing more than pain.
I mean, in some ways, this is a hypothetical question because, you know, uh, if we rewind the clock 20 years ago, you did not know what you did not know, right?
Exactly,
And,
exactly.
and so, I mean, you did not have the experience of the 20 years that you went forward with.
Yeah,
But I think in terms of a model that you would apply, you're saying, so, be open and soak in all the inputs at that time and
yeah,
then
yeah.
give your
So
best shot.
I would basically
Right.
say, yeah, see, look, be open, take
Mhm.
open to the outside inputs. Like, don't be rigid about yourself, because world changes very quickly.
Correct.
You What you are today, you
Mhm.
are 100% not going to be what you are 5 years from now,
Right.
right? So you have to learn from your surroundings. You have to take decisions, balancing, and then take your decision based on balancing both your heart and mind. There's a lot of time there's a discussion, oh, should you take decision based on your heart, should you take decision with, it's
Right.
not linear, it's not this or that, right? It's You have to take a decision both from your judgment, which is your mind,
Yeah.
but also your feelings, your values, which is
Mhm.
your heart,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
They're not mutually
It's
exclusive.
just that one element dominates and more one person versus the other,
But
probably.
the other person, right, right. And so I really feel that you should be taking decisions, balancing both your mind and your heart, and and take things around you and decide, okay, this is what, and this is based on this knowledge,
Mhm.
this is what I'm going to take a decision, and then stick to it, persevere with that.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
That's great, Anurag. What a journey, man! So this is awesome. a lot of unique experiences and learning in your life journey. So now let me shift gears a little bit on the non-work side of life, right? So how do you relax? I mean, what do you do on the weekends? And, I learned through the grapevine that, you do some custom salad making. What is that all about? Please tell me. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so as I said that I I have this creative things. If I had all the time, I would probably do painting, I would do woodwork, I would do a lot of things I want to do, and I have a big bucket list that I'm going to
Mhm.
do in my retirement, right? But but there are few things I do which are more like not as much as the hobby, but more like stress busters,
Mhm.
right? And uh, the so I build these sort of uh, the salad,
Based.
decorative
Yeah.
salads or decorative fruits
Mhm.
that are uh, so if there is a a cricket game or there's Super Bowl or there's things like that,
Mhm.
then I would spend a few hours uh, sort of do something creative that we all can enjoy.
Mhm.
Uh, and and my wife and that is a great partner. We both would discuss. So we'd say, okay, this, can we do this? Can we do that? How can
Mhm.
we build something? And it becomes like a family thing. It becomes like a family project. We all enjoy it very much. So uh, even though it takes time, it does, but it gives a lot of joy and satisfaction in doing those things.
Yeah.
And it's a family fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and people enjoy it too. So
Uh,
looks like the marketing team carries through in your salad making too, in some ways, right?
yeah,
Um,
thank you.
okay, Anurag. So any other parting thoughts? I think the gist of the message I got from you was start something, stay the course, and just give it your best shot and
Yeah, give it your best shot, and there will
let
always
things
be
happen.
days when you are saying, "What the heck I got yourself into?" But then persevere through that, and then you'll work.
So, any other parting thoughts before we conclude our conversation?
No, I think Upesh, this has been great conversation. Loved the discussion. You have very intriguing, great questions, right? Uh, I'll actually think through some of the questions you asked
Mhm.
more
Mhm.
because I didn't expect some things like that. So
Yeah.
uh, it's some of those are very deep questions where a lot of thought can go and
Mhm.
enlightenment can come out. So I will work through that. But great, thank you very much. This is great.
Yeah. Thank you, Anurag. I'm glad I was able to provoke your thought and some food for thought for you, some homework, I guess, that you will do after the interview.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending the time with me and my viewers and letting us, take a peek into your life and your journey. I want to wish you all the best for Rightwave and may it continue to sustain and grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Upesh. Thanks for having me.